Hello, beautiful people. I'm going to be reading Pride and Prejudice, Volume 2, Chapter 16. Let's start now. It was the second week in May in which the three young ladies set out together from Grace Church Street for the town of in Hertfordshire, and as they drew near the appointed inn where Mr. Bennet's carriage was to meet them, they quickly perceived, in token of the coachman's punctuality, both Katy and Lydia, looking out of a dining room upstairs. These two girls had been above in an hour in the place above had been above an hour in the place, happily employed in visiting an opposite million milliner, watching the sentinel on guard and dressing a salad. Let me see. Salad and cook. Oh, they spell it so differently. Salad and cook. Oh my goodness. I know this word, but sometimes I forget English words. Cucumber. After welcoming their sisters, they triumphantly display a table set out with such cold meat as an inn larder usually afford, exclaiming, Is not this nice? Is not this an agreeable surprise? And we meant to treat you all," added Lydia, "but you must lend us the money, for we have just spent hours at the shop out there, then choosing then then showing her purchases. Look here, I have brought this bonnet. I do not think it's very pretty, but I thought I might as well buy it as not. I shall put it to pieces as soon as I get home, and see if I can make it up any better." And when her sisters abused it as ugly, she added with a perfect unconcern, "Oh, but there were two or three much uglier in the shop, when I have brought some when I have bought some pretty coloured satin to trim it with fresh. I think it will be very tolerable. Besides, it will not much sanctify what one wears this summer after the shear have left Meryton, and they are going in a fortnight." "Are they indeed?" cried Elizabeth with the greatest satisfaction. "They're going to be encamped near Brighton, and I do so want papa to take us all there for the summer. It will be such a delicious scheme, and I dare say would hardly cost anything at all. Mamma would like to go too, of all things. I don't think what a miserable summer else we shall have." Yes, thought Elizabeth. "That would be a delightful scheme indeed, and completely do for us at once. Good heavens! Brighton, and a whole campful of soldiers to us, who have been overset already by one poor regiment of militia and the monthly balls of Meryton. Now I've got some news for you," said Lydia, as they sat down to the table. What do you think? It is excellent news, capital news, and about a certain person that we all like. Jane and Elizabeth looked at each other, and the waitress was told that he need not to say. Elizabeth laughed and said, "Eh, that is just like your formality and description. You thought the waiter must not hear as he cared. I dare say he often hears worse things said than I'm going to say. But he's an ugly fellow. I am glad he's gone. I never saw such a long chin in my life. Well, but now for my news. It is about dear Wickham, too good for the waiter, is it not? Is it not it? There is no danger of Wickham's Mary Ken. There is for you. She is gone down to her uncle at Liverpool, gone to stay. Wickham is safe, and Mary Ken is safe, added Elizabeth, safe from the connection of imprudence as to fortune. She is a great fool for going away, if she liked him. But I hope there's no strong attachment in either side, said Jane. There is not on his. I'm sure there's not on his. I'll answer for you, he never cared three straws about her. Who could who could about such a nasty little thing freckled thing? Elizabeth was shocked to think that however incapable of such. Look this up. Coarseness and expression herself. The coarseness of sentiment was a little odder than her own breast had formerly harboured and fancied liberal. As soon as all had ate and the eldest one paid, the carriage was ordered, and after some contrivance, the whole party with all their boxes, work bags and parcels, and the unwelcome addition to Katie's and Lydia's packages were seated in. How nicely we all are crammed in, cried Lydia. I am glad I bought my bonnet, for it is only for fun. It, it, if it's only time for the fun of having another bandbox, well, now let us be quite comfortable and snug, snug and talk and laugh all the way home. And in the first place, let us hear what has happened to you all. Since you went away, have you seen any pleasant men? Have you had any flirting? I was in great hopes that one of you would have got a husband before you came back. Jane will be quite an old maid soon, I declare. She is almost 3 and 20. Lord, how ashamed I should be of not being married before 3 and 20. My aunt Phillips wants you to get wants you so to get husbands. You can't think. She says Lizzie had better have taken Mr. Collins, but I do not think there would have been any fun in it. Lord, how I should like to be married before any of you, and then I would chaperone you about to all the balls. Dear me, we had such a good piece of fun the other day at Colonel Foster's. Kitty and me were going to spend the day there, and Mrs. Foster promised to have a little dance in the evening. By the by, Mrs. Foster and me are such friends, and so she asked the two Harry Harringtons to come. But Harriet was ill, and so Pen was forced to come by herself. And then what did you think we did? We dressed up as Chamberlain in women's clothes on purpose to pass for a lady. Always think what a fun. Not a soul knew of it. But Cole and Miss Foster and Katie and me, except my aunt, for we were forced to borrow one of her gowns, and you cannot imagine how well he looked. When Denny and Wickham and Pratt and two or three more of the men came in, they did not know him in the least. Lord, how I laughed, and so did Mrs. Foster. I thought I should have died, and that made the men suspecting something, and they were soon found out what was the matter. With such kind of historics of their parties and good jokes, did Lydia, assisted by Katie's hands and additions, endeavor to amuse her companions all the way to Longbourn. Elizabeth listened as little as she could, but there was no escaping frequent mention of Wickham's name. Their reception at home was most kind. Miss Bennet rejoiced to see Jane in undiminished beauty, and more than once during dinner did Mr. Bennet say voluntarily to Elizabeth, "I am glad you come back, Lizzie." Their party in the dining room was large, for almost all the locusts came to meet Maria and hear the news, and various were the subjects which occupied them. Lady Lucas was inquiring of Maria across the table after the welfare and poultry of her do- eldest daughter. Mrs. Barnett was doubtly engaged on one of hand collection an account of the present fashion from Jane, who sat some way below her, and and the other reciting them all to the younger Miss Lucas, and Lydia, in a voice rather louder than any other person's, was enumerating the various pleasure of the morning to anybody who would hear her. "Oh, Mary," said she, "I wish you had gone with us, for we had such fun. As we went along, Kitty and me drew up all the blinds and pretended there was nobody in the class, and I should have gone so all the way if Kitty had not been sick, and we got to the George. I do think we behaved very handsomely, for we treated the other three with the nicest cold luncheons in the world, and if you would have gone, we would have treated you too. And then when we came away, it was such fun. I thought we never should have got into the coach. I was ready to die of laughter, and then we were so merry all the way home. We talked and laughed so loud that anybody might have heard us 10 miles off. To this, Mary very gravely replied, "For far be it from me, my dear sister, to deprecate, depreciate, depreciate with such pleasures. They would doubtless be congenial with the generality of female minds, but I confess they would have no charm for me. I would have infinitely preferred a book. But of this answer Lydia heard not a word. She seldom listened to she seldom listened to anybody for more than half a minute, and never attended to Mary at all. In the afternoon, Lydia was urgent with the rest of the girls to walk to Meryton and see how everybody went on. But Lady Elizabeth steadily opposed, opposed the scheme. It should not be said that the Miss Bennet could not be at home half a day before they were in pursuit of the officers. There was another reason too for her opposition. She dreaded seeing Wickham again, and was resolved to avoid it as long as possible. The comfort to her of the regiment's approaching removal was indeed beyond expression. In a fortnight they were to go once again. She hoped there could be nothing more to plague her on his account. She had not been many hours at home before she found that the Brighton scheme, of which Lydia had given them a hint at the inn, was under frequent discussion between her parents. Elizabeth saw directly that her father had not the smallest intention of yielding, but his answers were at the same time so vague and equivocal that her mother, though often disheartened, had never yet despaired of succeeding at last. Okay, I'm done. I'm gonna read the next chapter tomorrow. Yeah, and I'm so proud of myself. Very. Yeah, bye bye.